All right. What's going on, guys? Ray Yerg's back here with another edition of the Third and Long Pick Six Show recap edition. Hopefully, you guys tuned in and picked some winners. We went 4-2 overall this week. Great week to start off on a winning, getting on a winning note. What a tremendous week it was. So let's keep the ball rolling. Let's see what we can do. Give you guys a little bit of a recap, and we'll talk a little bit about Thursday night's game. As I mentioned earlier, so blowout victory for the Ravens, just as I predicted, against the Jets. Slow to start, but it ended up with the blowout, covering the spread of the 6.5, as we mentioned in the show. Edged out victory with the Browns. Really, really tough one there. Really, a lot of back and forth, but Baker Mayfield gets denied the victory. As I said in the preview video for the entire season as to why I like the Browns, I believe Brissett is able to do enough before Watson comes back in Week 12. And that was just one chance to prove it so far. So we'll see what happens as we go forward. Jags blew the lead late in the game against Washington, giving Washington a chance to drive down the field. But is what it is there. I did like the pick. It felt pretty solid for a while there, but we ended up walking away with the loss on that one. But that's okay. That's all right because, like I said, we ended up getting the 4-2 overall, so that's what matters. And we'll just keep rolling. Dolphins roll against the Patriots. Listen, Patriots are just, not the same as they were with Tom Brady, and that is clear. It makes yourself wonder about Bill Belichick. So a lot of discussion there. A lot of we don't know what's going to happen with Mac Jones. But as I stated in the video, the Dolphins are the second best team in the AFC East behind the Bills, and they looked really good. They looked really strong. Great week to start off for them. That's how you want to get out on the season, is always getting that victory on week one is where you get your feet off going. So we'll see what Miami's able to do there. See what the Patriots be able to do going forward. We'll see how that whole situation turns out, but don't be surprised if the Pats only get about 8 victories this year. Some other stuff that was on my radar, but not too much that I really wanted to give picks out on. But some interesting things from the games. Bears' big victory, in my opinion, against the 49ers in a wet and wild one in Chicago. Justin Fields looked really good given the weather. San Francisco, struggled. Maybe it was just the weather. Trey Lance first start as a franchise quarterback, really. So a lot of ifs and what's happening with the Niners, and they got a big test again coming up this week. So if they start off 0-2, it's going to be tough. What happens with Jimmy G? Does Jimmy G come back as a quarterback where they're most comfortable with? Or does Jimmy G go into my next topic, Cowboys, with Dak being out 4 to 6 weeks? Boy, did the Cowboys look terrible. Even with Dak on the field, they only scored 3 points. What makes you think they're going to be able to score points with whatever backup quarterback that they got? Because they don't really have a backup quarterback. They got nobody compared to the people in the NFC East in case their quarterbacks go down. This is really bad on Jerry Jones' part. This is really bad for the Cowboys going forward. And it's going to be really difficult for them to keep pace over the next 6 weeks. So, do they go get Jimmy G? Is Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore their problem? Their defense is what kept them in that game against the Bucs, and it was a good game for a while. I mean, Parsons looked absolutely atrocious, sacking Tom Brady. And boy, do I love seeing Tom Brady get sacked, especially not being a Patriots fan and just really despising the Patriots. Not being a big Tom Brady fan, but it's always good to see him get sacked. But the defense kept them in it for quite a while, but they ran out of gas at the end. The offense looked terrible. The wide receivers looked out of sync. It's going to be a real struggle with the Cowboys. Do they go get Jimmy G? Is he the answer for the Cowboys? Is he going to be the answer for the 49ers if the 49ers go off on a slow start? We'll see. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of weeks because Jerry Jones does not does not like to lose, even though all they do is lose. And we can argue back and forth on that all you want with the Cowboys fans if you want to. Reach out to me on Twitter at The Real Ray Yergs or comment on YouTube at The Real Ray Yergs. We can have a discussion. I'll bring you onto the show. We'll have a discussion about the Cowboys and their past failures and everything if you want. No problem. Love talking about it. Weird game between my Colts and the Texans. Very odd. Ends in a tie. I hate games that ends in ties. I don't even know why we still do ties in the NFL. You know, you look at a lot of the other sports, especially baseball, when they continue to make these little changes that try to make the game better. The NFL just fails in this part. Like, do they make the game better by giving both teams a possession? Yeah, that was cool at first, but I mean, you had games, there was like 3 games that tied last year. First week of the season this year, there was a tie. Nobody wants to see a tie. Figure out another way, NFL. Let's fix that problem. As I stated before, too, I don't really think Matt Ryan is the solution for the Colts. I think this is another plug-and-play type of deal until they see some type of franchise quarterback in somebody. I don't know who, but I feel bad for Frank Reich. 5 straight years where we have a new quarterback every single year. They seem to have lost themselves when Andrew Luck retired. It's like, what are we going to do now? I said this years ago. If they had just focused on the bad season that they did have that one year and drafted a franchise quarterback about 3 or 4 years ago, I forgot what year it was that they didn't have a good season, they would be set up for this moment now with the best offensive line in the league, with the wide receivers like Pittman, with Jonathan Taylor as your running back. You would be set up. Matt Ryan, to me, is just not the answer. He's not the solution. Is it just one bad game? I've not been a big Matt Ryan fan since the Super Bowl year, since the MVP season. I just think he's washed out. I just don't think he's the answer. As I said in my preview video, Carson Wentz probably could have been a better option. I don't know. We'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks with the Colts. But what a weird game. Didn't like it. Packers wide receivers continue to struggle, but they're rookies. What do you expect? What do you expect from rookies? Colin Cowherd said it best the other day. Aaron Rodgers has a problem with not being able to mentor and talk to the wide receivers about the mistakes that they had. It was a great point on his part when Adams left. He was comfortable with Adams, top wide receiver in the league. You're going to throw it. You know what's going to happen. But when you have young wide receivers, they need a mentor. They need a leader. The wide receivers coach isn't going to be the solution. You need to be, as a leader, as a captain of that team, you need to be able to go and talk to those wide receivers, even on the sidelines, not after the game or whatever. You need to be able to go and talk to them and try and get on the same page so you're able to get them to make those passes, figure out why they make those mistakes, tell them what they need to do. Don't just abandon from them and just go to the run game and go to your tight end because you're comfortable. The game's over. You abandon that. Abandoned the wide receivers. Not good on Aaron Rodgers' part, but what do you expect from Aaron Rodgers? That's how he rolls. Still sticking with what I said in my NFL season preview video, so go check that out if you want to know more about the Packers and what I said about them. But not a good start for the Packers. Not a good look for Aaron Rodgers, but that's something that we're used to, so I guess it really doesn't matter. Couple other things. Weird game last night. Interesting play calling, to say the least. Seattle gets away with the victory when everybody was all over Denver, especially when if 80% of the money is on Denver, you know what's going to happen, that it's either going to be covered spread by the opposing team or an outright victory. And we got the outright victory by Seattle. Just odd how Russ was. Play calling was odd. A lot of turnovers in the red zone. Russ should have known going into that game. He should have known what the atmosphere was going to be like. And they looked completely confused, completely lost. And he should have been able to be a leader as that for being there for 10 years, knowing what that stadium's going to do, what the fans are going to do. Probably should have handled a little bit better. But the game was close for pretty much the whole game. It was interesting to see how Russ didn't really take over on the last drive on the 4th and 5 play when there was about a minute left. They had 3 timeouts. They let 30 seconds go off the clock before they even called a timeout to decide what they wanted to do about kicking a field goal, not kicking a field goal, going for it. Seems like Russ was maybe letting the head coach make the decision or not helping him try and make the decision. It was very odd to me as to like how that whole situation transpired. I think you had a better opportunity going for it on 4th and 5. Your odds were much better than hitting a 64-yard field goal when there's only been 2 field goals in the last 50 attempts over 60 yards made. So your odds were about 49% if you got it on 4th and 5. You had a 49% chance of actually making that. So very weird. The play calling, missed field goal, and then the nerve. 2 timeouts remaining with Denver, and there's about 15 seconds left, and Seattle goes out for victory formation, and you take timeouts thinking that you can have some miraculous play where the ball gets a botched snap and you get it back, but you didn't want to call a timeout with the minute left. Weird play calling. Terrible, awful. Rookie head coach, I guess that's what you get. Don't overcomplicate things. If you don't overcomplicate things and you simplify things, you're going to have a better outcome. And that's not just with football. It's in life too. Don't overcomplicate things. Anyways, Thursday night football, tremendous matchup. Chargers going into KC, week 2. What a Thursday night football game this is going to be. Divisional rivalry, big time divisional matchup to kick it off. So you know that since that Thursday night football is going to be big time on Amazon Prime, they're putting a lot of oomph into it. You know these Thursday night games are going to be really good. So far they've been able to fix the schedule over the recent years, and what a way to start it off this year. I love this. This is going to be such a tough, at FanDuel Sportsbook, we got -4.5 Chiefs, over 54.5. No play in this game. I might not have a play in this game. If I do, I'll end up recording the Pick 6 show earlier than I usually do for the rest of the picks. But typically, I don't really have Thursday night picks. It's always tough, short week. Most of the time, there's a lot of overs and everything. So I don't like messing with Thursday night football games. But it's an interesting play here. Something I'm looking at. I like to do as a side bet sometimes, maybe like a teaser or something, but I do like a teaser, possibly getting the Chiefs down to +2.5 and the over of 48.5 with a 6-point teaser. I'd like to see where the line goes just a little bit more. See if we can maybe squeeze another half a point or so from the Chiefs, getting that down to maybe -3.5 to bring it to a field goal on the plus side. So we'll see what happens there. Be interesting to see where the lines go, but I love this matchup. Mahomes looked great on Sunday against the Cardinals. A lot of people said that having Tyreek Hill not there anymore hurts Mahomes. Listen, they had a lot of good wide receivers even with Tyreek Hill's around him, and I feel that the wide receivers got better because they got younger and faster. Not as fast as Tyreek Hill, of course, but they're more dynamic. They fit into this offense. And it showed on Sunday, so we'll see if Mahomes can keep it up, especially against this Chargers defense coming into town. So, great game. It's going to be a good one. We'll see what happens. I might do a live stream during the game. I might pop in and out. I don't know. But if I don't, you can follow me on Twitter at The Real Ray Yergs. And you can follow me on YouTube where all the content will be, in pick shows. Everything will be there. Same name, at The Real Ray Yergs. Really appreciate the support. Don't forget to go follow, go like, go subscribe. And let's pick some more winners.